This is going to be an all levels yoga class, and we're going to focus on building resilience. I like to start every yoga class with some sort of centering. And while I'm in this phase of resiliency building, I've been focusing a lot on breath in the back body. So I've been starting out almost every one of my home practices like this. So if you want, you can take a pillow and bring it between your knees. Stuff it pretty deeply between your inner thighs if you want. This is just going to be something comfortable for your belly to lay down. And then come forward to hands and shins, butt to the heels, and let the whole hand make contact with your mat or the floor. You might notice your weight wants to go to the outside of the heel of your hand, and just press so the weight is evenly distributed through the whole palm. And you might feel different parts of your arms engage. Like, for example, when I press through the inside of my hand, so the weight is pressed evenly, I feel my triceps engage, which is like, it's kind of what we're looking for. So if you want here, close your eyes. And with the weight through the whole hand, gently press the weight back into your seat. And breathe. The point of centering is to start with a physical intention of connectedness with self. So yoga, as many people know, means to yoke or to join, to bring together. So here I'm bringing my attention, the light of my awareness to my breath, which automatically brings the light of my awareness to my body. And then you can walk your hands forward a little bit more. And keep the weight pushing back into the seat. Allow the shoulder blades to sink or rest down the back, and you can tuck your chin in. Tuck your chin in so the back of the neck gets a little longer. And find your natural breath. You might get to the point where your belly's resting on the pillow, which is great. You can walk forward as far as what's comfortable for you. And soon you might feel like you don't really have any weight in the hands. And by that point, you can let the forearms rest and rest on either the chin, the face, or the forehead on your pillow. You can even double your fists and rest your forehead on your fists while your belly and chest get to enjoy the support that the pillow provides. And even if you have a lot to do right now in life, or you have a lot of space and time, double up your attention to the breath in your back body. Ideally, you want to feel the breath all the way from the pelvic floor, up through the back body, into the neck, and out through the crown of the head. And if you're not there yet, no big dealio. Just notice what you notice. We're just going to be here for just like another 30 seconds, maybe a tiny bit longer. Finding a sense of weight in your shins, in your shoulders, even the tops of your feet. Allow the sit bones here to get heavy, soft, and wide. And as you do that, you might feel a deeper softening in your belly. Stay with that awareness in the breath in the back body, and then come up to all fours. You can move your pillow out of the way if you use your pillow. Find your way into the center of your mat, and again, consciously press through the whole palm and push the ground away so your shoulder blades come off the back. And then just relax the heart down towards the floor so the shoulder blades find their way onto the back. Curl your toes under and press up into downward facing dog. Allow the head to be heavy here and pedal through the heels. Imagine the calf reaching down towards the heel. Taking your time here, you might even coordinate the movement with the breath. You can even play and feel like, does the exhale as the heel descends feel good? Does that feel good on the inhale? Find what works for you. Notice where the sensation is in the leg. Is it mainly in the calf? Does it head up to the hammy? How's the pressure in the hands? Does your pelvic floor and your sit bones, do they want to tense or engage? They don't really have to, so see if you can keep them soft and wide. And then find your way to center here. Breath through the back body, pressure through the evenness of your palms, and push your straight arms into the ground, just like you were in child's pose, pushing your weight back into your seat. Head can be heavy, tongue can be heavy. And then come to all fours. Once you get to all fours, reach your left arm straight out to the side, and on your inhale, breathe so the chest opens, and then exhale, weave that arm through, and let's come into a twist. Resting on the left side of the noggin. Right hand can go right about in line with the forehead, and plug the right shoulder blade onto the back. Again, close the eyes, soften the tongue, and here's a great opportunity to feel the broadness in your pelvic floor and your seat. Notice how there's more weight in the left knee, and that is a-okay. Breathe here and let the breath almost massage the pose closed and open. It'll happen automatically. Inhale, feel yourself come out of the pose just the tiniest bit, and on the exhale, get a little bit deeper into it. And find a sense of enjoyment. Even imagine the skin of the left arm softening so it can be receptive to the texture of the mat. And where through the spine can you relax more? So the twist has more room to move. You can stay here or reach your right leg straight back behind you, toes curled under. Feel the right hip lift, and you're going to feel that left knee get even more grounded into the floor, which is great. Keep that left knee grounded and maybe lift your right leg up to the sky. Spread through the toes and feel the length from the sit bone, through the inner knee, all the way through the inner heel of the lifted leg. Still relaxed through the bottom shoulder, the tongue, and the pelvic floor. One more breath. And then lower that knee down. Rise up to all fours and just check in side to side. Notice what you notice. How one side might feel a little bit of a C curve, one side might feel more spacious, and that's totally cool. Right arm straight out to the side on your inhale. Right chest opens, right arm reaches up, and then exhale, weave it through. Same thing. The right hand is going to go about 6 to 8 inches in front of the forehead. Left elbow lifted. Left shoulder blade hugs into the back. So you can really see that here. Hopefully you can see that here, how my left shoulder hugs into the back. The opposite would be the shoulder slumping forward. So shoulder onto the back. Eyes can close. Allow your head to be supported by the floor. So the head doesn't have to work here. It really can rest. And find your breath. Inhale, your whole body gets bigger. There's less space for the twist. And on the exhale, space gets created and you get this opportunity to twist just a little bit deeper, if it feels okay. Right arm soft, allowing the texture of the mat and your floor to touch it. Where is the weight in your knees? Likely your right knee. One more breath. And we're really not trying to create static poses. We might hold poses, but I want you to really mine or harvest the movement, even if it's subtle. If you'd like, reach your left leg straight back behind you with the toes curled under. Feel the weight come down into the right knee and add a little extra oomph or weight as if your whole right femur is getting longer and pushing the floor down. Keep that and lift the left leg up. You can spread through the toes and feel the line from pubic bone to inner sit bone to inner knee and out through the foot. And can the breath still move and undulate within this pose? And on your next exhale, lower the knee down, take a breath, and on your inhale, come up to all fours. And then come down onto your forearms. You can stay here or interlace your hands. If your shoulders are pretty tight, I recommend you interlace your hands. If you're looking to get a little bit more open through your shoulders, bring your forearms parallel to one another. So I'm going to go here. And here, I'm even still pressing through the whole palm. Curl your toes under and float your knees up just a couple of inches. You might find your knees want to widen, so hug your inner knees together. A little bit of action there. As the knees hug together, can the sit bones stay soft? Your gaze can be towards your feet. Your gaze can be towards the floor. Rock forward just an inch or so. Press through the whole length of your forearms. Feel the strength in your quadriceps, and then press your heart back towards your knees. 2 breaths. You're going to feel effort and strength and work, and that's part of what I'm trying to cultivate here. And on your next exhale, lower your knees down, keep your toes curled under, and come back to kneeling. You can close your eyes. Just like you hugged your inner knees together, hug your inner heels together so the line of the inner feet are parallel to one another. Turn your palms face up. Soften your tongue. Notice what you tense here when you're in a state of even minor stress, like stress to the toes. And on your next exhale, you can keep your eyes closed. We're going to come into kneeling, so flatten the feet. Palms face up. And feel your breath into your back body. Open your eyes, bring your hands behind your head. Interlace your hands behind your occipital ridge, which is that bony ridge right where the neck and the head meet. So interlace your hands behind that occipital ridge and press your head back into your hands. Widen your elbows wide and feel the breath through the back body. If you can't get your breath through the back body, it might be a sign that your ribs are jutting forward or your head is jutting forward. That's a pattern that my body really kind of loves to get into. So I'm going to bring my head back. Feel the breath through my back body as its own educator. With my head pressing back, press through the tops of the shins so you just slowly float all the way up. 2 more times. Coming down. Rest. Shoulders rest. Tongue softens. Press the shins down. Soften the webbing of your hands and float up. And come on down. Notice how when I float up, I'm not using momentum. I'm not coming forward with my heart. I'm leaning my head back with my elbows wide and press through the tops of the shins. Float up, step the right foot forward. Curl the back toes under and float the back knee up just like an inch. Feel the breath through the back body. Bow forward about 2 or 3 inches. Feel the breath through the back body. Keep the breath through the back and rise up so the body's perpendicular to the floor and step all the way forward. Reach the arms up into the sky. Look up. You can keep the hands here. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, bring the palms together. Hug the triceps in towards the face. And as the shoulder blades move down the back, reach the length of the arms up, through the fingertips, even through the fingernails. And on your exhale, fold forward. Allow the head to hang and the tongue to soften. Inhale, stretch forward halfway. And exhale, fold. Step the left leg back once again. Hang here for a moment. Come up onto the fingertips. Draw the shoulder blades onto the back. Draw the neck back, almost like the throat's coming in, and tuck the chin. If you'd like here, you can reach the right arm forward, maybe reach the left arm forward. 3, 2, 1. Good. Lower down onto the back knee, rise up, low lunge. Come into a twist, right arm back, left arm forward. Sweet. Gaze towards the back fingertips. On your inhale, sweep both arms up. Hands behind the head once again, press the head back. Come back to kneeling and let the hands rest in the thighs. Close the eyes. Allow the jaw to be slack and the shoulder blades to find their way home. On your next breath, bring the hands behind the head once again. Press the head back. Feel the breath through the back body. Press down through the tops of the shins. Rise up. Bring the left foot forward. Curl the back toes under and float the back knee just a few inches off the floor. Remember that feeling of the knee hugging in and find that here. One more breath. And then step forward. Arms up into the sky. Hug the triceps together here. Bring the palms together maybe, and then bring the hands together down the back. Hug the triceps in here. You can see in my body, I definitely want to find a little bit of a back bend to make it easier for my arms to find up, but I'm going to resist that a little bit. So I'm going to draw my ribs back. I'm going to find my breath through my back body. And once I find it, I'm going to build on top of that. So elbows hug in, forearms adjust. My head's pressing back into my forearms, and I'm filling in fullness through my back body. On your next inhale, reach your arms up into the sky. Step the right leg back again. Take another breath. Bow forward. You can bring the hands to the floor here if that's more comfortable, or you can keep the arms right where they are. So we're coming into this pose in a different way. And rise up. Lower the back knee down. Come into a twist. Gaze over the right fingertips. On your inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back into all fours. Come into plank. Hold plank. Feel free to bend the knees. Notice where the weight of your palms. Feel warmth come into your body. Your heart rate might speed a little bit. Your muscles are totally activating. One more breath. And lower all the way down. Rest here. Place your palms to the floor. Let the forehead rest on the back of the palms. And imagine your whole front body just melting onto the floor. Body melts. Imagine the floor gets really soft like a Tempur-Pedic mattress and starts to form to the shape of your body. Just try on that image for a second and notice how your body responds. Floor gets soft, spongy. What releases inside when you gift yourself the yum of that image? On your next inhale, come up onto your forearms into Sphinx pose. So just like the whole weight of the palms on the floor, we're going to bring the weight into the whole of the forearm. And then I'm going to glide my right knee up. And this isn't going to be an active pose. This is more of a restful pose. This is great for the SI joint, great for the adductor, good for pelvic floor in general. If this feels like too much, you can come back down to here. You'll get all the same juicy benefits for sure. If you want a little bit more of a back bend while you're in this, come into here. Watch for this, where the traps like to kind of hook themselves onto your earlobes like a not very fancy pair of earrings. So allow the shoulder blades to find their way onto the back, and your collarbones just like reach long and wide like the branches of my little art up there. So allow the collarbone branches to reach, the right thigh to just get heavy, and rest into the support. When you tune into support, this is such a beautiful thing. This is so metaphorical too, by the way. When you tune into support, you don't have to work so hard. So when my right knee can feel that the floor is like, I got you. My right knee is like, oh, sweet. And then tension around this whole femur, pelvis, pelvic floor gets to release. And notice how your whole system's like down regulating right now. Totally the opposite of a plank, which is great. I want you to really notice that ebb and flow of like activation and settling in your system. That's like the key to building resilience. Right knee back. Come back to rest for just a moment. Hands on the floor, forehead rests on the back of the hands, and soften. Soften your teeth, the skin around your nose, the skin around your sacrum. And on your next inhale, come back up into Sphinx pose. If you want, you can keep your forehead on the ground. And when you're ready, glide your left knee forward as high as what's comfortable. And same thing, tune into support. I'm finding the weight of my forearm wants to go to my elbow, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but I really like to create balanced action in the body. So I'm going to press with a little bit of consciousness through the more, it's called the distal or the further aspect of the arm on the ulnar surface of the forearm, which is the outside of the forearm in this position. You can tell the inside of the wrist is a little bit more lifted or buoyant, and that's fine, but my action is trying to come more into balance. And you might notice when you do that how the muscles of the arms coalesce in a more balanced way too. So left knee just feels the soft Tempur-Pedic support of the floor. And allow the layers of tension around the femur to start to release. And if that feels like too much to do with your arms here and you're working balanced action in the arms, it can be a lot of information for the brain, especially like the movement brain. Come down, allow the forehead to rest. And just a few more breaths, finding a deeper release of unneeded tension. And again, that's easy to say, Harder to do, but when you feel the support, even like the nuance of the support, like what is the texture of the floor that your leg is resting on? Can the skin of your leg that's in contact with the floor start to almost drink in the texture, the temperature, any sort of sensory information that's available? And as you do that, notice, what's the result of taking in sensory information? One more breath. Great. And release that leg back. Pause here, resting on your belly, and just feel. From here, resting on your forehead on the floor, interlace your hands behind your back. Notice the way your grip is and switch it. So these small forms of, I don't want to quite say discomfort, but non-familiarity, non-habit forming patterns is a way to kind of rub up against any kind of resilience building. So this isn't my normal way of grasping, so I'm going to go into my non-dominant way. Roll the shoulder blades onto the back, bend the elbows a little bit and hug the elbows together. Lift the hands up away from the sacrum. And on your inhale, from the crown of your head, start to float the head up. Float the chin up, float the chest up. Float the bottom ribs up. Notice my feet aren't off the floor yet. My pelvic floor is fighting to stay soft because it wants to get involved. I'm going to try to keep my pelvic floor soft and my sit bones wide as my feet float up. My toes are going to get involved. I'm feeling the air through the webbing of my toes, and my eyes are soft. See if you can squeeze up a little bit higher. See if you can squeeze up a little bit higher. Stay lifted here. Release your hands. Bring your hands to the floor alongside your chest. Keep your elbows hugging in as if your hands were interlaced behind your back, and lift up into cobra. However high is what's comfortable. Try to keep your pelvic floor soft. Guess where the pressure is in your hands? The whole palm. Good job. The whole palm presses down, and then drag the whole palm back. Throat back, chin tucked, and tune into the vibe of this pose. It's like noble, it's strong. Take one more breath. Press back into child's pose for just a moment. Downward facing dog. Elbows are straight and strong. Feel the inside of the elbow, what's often called the eye of the elbow, lengthened and spread wide open. And you'll see here, my heels can't quite get to the ground. I have really tight calves. The cue I'd love to give for my feet is allowing my feet to press into the floor the same way the whole of my palm is. My fingers are soft and actually a little bit passive, but the palm of my hand is very conscious and active. And I'm just imagining my feet have that same delightful opportunity to feel the weight of the legs press into the whole foot. Two breaths. Notice what's working here in your arms, triceps, maybe around the shoulder blades. Try not to let your traps get too involved, and balanced action of the hands will actually help that. And then we're going to walk our hands towards the feet. Until you get into a comfortable forward fold, and then you get to experiment with the feet, maybe a soft bend in the knees, and experiment with the feet to try to get that same balanced action through the feet. So explore. I'm finding right now my weight, probably because I came into this pose from downward dog, is much more in the front of my foot than the heels. So bending my knees, I'm going to bring the weight back into my heels a little bit more. Press in through the inner edges of the feet and the outer edges of the feet. I remember when I first started doing yoga, all of this like intricate, nuanced work, I was like, yawn. But like everything, as you kind of stay with the game, you get more interested in nuance. But now I'm not only more interested in nuance, but I see the great benefit as my feet, as the action of my feet is intentional and conscious and balanced. My legs are healthier, my pelvis is healthier, my back is healthier, and everything that's built upon the foundation of my feet is more solid and sturdy with less effort. So it's purposeful, I promise. So finding that balanced action of the feet is as close as you can. Bend through the knees without losing that. Float the shoulders up so they're about in level with your hips. Bring your arms straight out to the side. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. You can stay here, or you can bring the hands behind the noggin. Press the head back into the hands, just like we were doing previously. Tuck the chin. That might be too much on your neck, and that's fine. If that's the case, you can bring your hands out to the side. A little easier for neck and shoulders is hands straight back. Option C, B, last option, arms straight forward, thumbs up towards the sky. Check in with those traps. So the same action in the arm as if you're pressing on the floor, and plug your thumbs towards the ceiling, chin tucked. Again, you're gonna feel like charge build in your system. This is so intentional. Knees hug in, engage into that charge. Soften your tongue, soften your pelvic floor. Feel the muscles get a little bit shaky, more involved. Plug the thumbs up to the sky. 3 breaths. Soft tongue, soft pelvic floor, conscious feet. One more breath. And come all the way up. Three breaths here. Elbows straight as if you're in downward facing dog. Breath into the back body. Pelvic floor broad. Palms together, down in front of the heart. And you can close your eyes again. Soft toes. Balanced action in the feet. So I'm finding the ball mound of my right big toe wants to be like peace out. Doesn't want to be involved. So I'm like, hey, sweet little toe mound, I need you. My whole body needs a solid foundation. So as I press down into that part that's like peace out, that whole side of my body awakens. And breathe. Feel the breath into the back body. Even here, can your pelvic floor be broad and soft? Outer hips release. And you might notice when you consciously release unnecessary tension in the hips, your feet get heavier on the floor, aka more grounded, which is great for resilience. On your next exhale, release your hands to the floor, palms forward. Take a breath in, turn the palms open, and on your exhale, real soft movement. The palms are going to roll back and let the shoulders roll in, collarbones roll in, and just the upper body kind of closes. So we're exaggerating what happens naturally with the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Take an exhale here, open, and on your next inhale, swoop your arms up to the sky. Oh, hello, plant. Exhale, fold. And walk your hands forward, downward facing dog. I think 2 more standing poses, and then we're going to start to chill out a little bit. So let's step the left foot forward. Back heel to the floor. Walk your hands to the inside of the front foot, and you can come down onto flat hands. If you have blocks, you can come onto blocks. You can come up onto finger pads, finger tops. And I'm going to snug my left arm right up against my left leg, and I'm going to use my left tricep to press the left knee out. And as my left tricep presses the left knee out, I'm making more space in my collarbones, so those like branch collarbones are wide reaching. My neck has more space, and the breath comes a little easier. And then just for contrast, scrunch your shoulders up towards your ears. Notice the quality of that position. So that's not what I'm going for. If that feels good to you, like, don't let me rain on your parade. Do what feels good. Like, you are the master of your experience. Seriously, I'm not even joking there. So find the space, the position, the breath that feels more in alignment with what you're cultivating. From here, let's come up into warrior two. So I'm going to reach right arm forward, up, and use that right arm as the lift. Warrior two, gaze over the front fingertips, arms wide reaching as they're just expressions of the collarbones. Chin tucked, full breath. And find a sense inside of gratitude. Think of someone that you're like, oh, I'm so grateful for them in my life. It could be a pet. It could be a person. I mean, right now we have access to so many like great online experiences, teachers, authors, classes. Like there's so much, like, find it, feel it, and let it like all wash over you and express itself through the pose. One more breath. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Child's pose. Feel. There's no right or wrong. Just building your depth of experience, building your bodily communication. Notice which sit bone feels heavier. Likely it's your right. We just activated the left quite a bit. So see if the left can just remember that in this moment, it's not needed for anything. And on your next breath or two, in your time, find your way to downward facing dog. Whole palm, soft, long fingers, lengthened eye of the elbow, heavy noggin. And let's bring the right foot forward. Back heel to the floor. Snuggle up your right hand to the inside of the right leg. So again, you can come down to flat hands. You can come onto blocks. You can come onto fingertips. Wherever you choose to be, press the right tricep into the right knee. Use that to, I was going to say spatialize, maybe that's a word, but to make space through the whole upper part of your torso. And see if you can even invite your breath into the top part of your shoulder blades, not to tense, but to move. Breath through pelvic floor, sacrum, low back, mid back, upper back. neck, crown, like a wave that just washes through the back body. Soften the toes on both feet. Pressure evenly distributed through the whole foot, both feet. 2 breaths. What's working that doesn't have to be? Maybe shoulders. Maybe the space around your eyes. Left arm forward, left arm up. Warrior 2. Ooh. Gaze over the right fingertips. Balanced action in the feet. Let your eyes get soft as if you're looking through fog. And allow your eyes to take in the periphery. This peripheral gaze is a backstage pass to your parasympathetic nervous system, towards the part of your nervous system that helps you just chill and calm and be more present with what is. 2 breaths. After your second breath, windmill the arms. Curl up onto your back toes. Downward facing dog. Come into plank position. Hold plank, or do 2 chaturangas, or do 5. 1. Notice I'm coming forward a little bit, then bending my elbows, my shoulders. I'm maybe not even doing a full chaturanga because I don't want my shoulders to come forward too much. So I'm erring on the side of safety. 3, 4, 5, and lower. Child's pose. Feel the support. What part of your body feels the heaviest into the support right now? Is it your forehead? Is it the tops of your feet? Is it your knees? Feel the breath in the back body, just like in the beginning of this time. On your inhale, come all the way up. We did a little bit of quad strengthening today, so I want to lengthen these guys before we move towards more seated poses. So if you have a pillow or a yoga block, if you find when you come to kneeling with your butt between your heels, this is Virasana or hero pose. If you find when you kneel here, your butt isn't all the way to the floor, grab a block or grab a pillow. And if this is too much on your knees, you can also come down into Sphinx or all the way onto your belly and stretch your quads this way. So find some way to lengthen through these guys. I'm going to tuck that in. Make sure the tops of my toes are pressing into the floor. My femurs are parallel to one another. One of the signs that I'm getting out of alignment or out of integrity, my breath tells me, but I can also check out the form of my body. So if my knees start to open, I'm going too far. So find the spot where you feel the first little whisper of sensation. And for me, that's right here. So I'm resting on the whole palm. Collarbones are wide, and I'm going to keep my chin tucked here for a bit. And in this pose, I can stay static and still enjoy the experience, but I'm just imagining. So imagery is really calling upon the right brain. And the right brain is just this beautiful gateway to welcome in new sensory experiences. It's kind of amazing. It's called idiokinesis if you want to look it up. But if I imagine my femurs starting to lengthen, 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 I feel tension being released through the top of my thighs. And then that tension gets less through my knees. And all of a sudden more space is created so I can maybe go down a little bit further. And this tends to be a position, a pose that can compromise low backs. So if you feel that to be true for you, don't go that far. Go to the point where it feels like that's my sweet spot. I'm having an experience and everything is still alive. Pain tends to be one of those things that clamps down and closes areas off from life force. And I sound a little woo-woo, but it's true. There's an energy that gets closed off in pain. So how can we invite a sense of weight, gravity or volume, and movement? The smallest. Sometimes the movement is made available through imagery. Take one more breath. Long femurs, soft belly, and then rise up. And just to counterpose that, we're going to stay here if that's okay for your knees and come forward. So this is calling upon an inner spiral of the thigh bones in the hip socket, which in my body is like, we don't do that. So some people, maybe most of you, will be able to get all the way to the floor fairly easy because you do have access to the inner spiraling of your thigh bones in your hips, which, good for you. No, I like celebrate it. I think it's great. Find the place again that feels good and isn't compromising your knees. Just breathe. And rise up. Great. You can get rid of the pillow. Come to seated. I want to finish with Janu Shirshasana. So we'll start with the right foot to the left thigh. And I'm going to take my hands to right below my sit bone and just kind of broaden. I'll show you what I'm doing. So here's my sit bone. Here's the flesh of my tush. I'm kind of angling that flesh back so my sit bones have nice direct contact with the floor. Good. And I'm straightening my belly button, pointing in the direction of my baby toe. So get nice and tall here. Yummy breath through the whole back body and fold. Fold whatever feels good and comfortable for you. You'll find if you fold too far too fast, there's a tension that happens. And usually, like I used to visit that tension like, sweet, gives me something to stretch into. But as I'm in this mindset of building resilience, this building resilience doesn't come from a no pain, no gain mentality. So I'm going to just back off and be sweet. And almost immediately, the tension subsides. My femur, I could feel like, has this opportunity to land a little bit more deeply into the floor. And then I can go a little bit further than I did before with less tension. So just explore. What is it like to approach your body in a way that isn't pushy? That's more in conversation with and tending to. Not to say that I don't want to challenge this thing to get stronger, but I don't want to be pushy, especially when I'm trying to build resilience. Which is interesting because when we build strength, what we're actually doing is we're breaking the body down. There's a place for that. It's just not where the goal is today, at least here. And then come on up. Switch sides. Right foot into the left thigh. Move the fleshy away from the tushy. Belly button in the direction of the pinky toe. Breath in the back body. Notice what that does to your inner experience when you bring breath to your back body. The awareness of your experience will like lock it into a neural pathway. So notice, and fold to wherever feels kind. Allow the heel to get heavy without pushing. Let the sit bone and the thigh bone follow suit. Just feel the weight of that bone. There's no rush. I mean, you could even pause this here and just enjoy the lengthening of your hamstring, which is a muscle. All the muscles of the back of the leg are tonic muscles, which means they're muscles that our bodies are using to stabilize. So they're used all the time when we're standing. Quadriceps are a little bit different. We really use those for like strong action, running, walking, things like that. But if we're standing, the quadriceps don't need to be engaged, but the muscles of the back of the leg they're working. So what is it like to give them permission to rest? And in this moment that they have an opportunity to rest, what's it like to not have to push them to oblige by your idea of what they should be doing? One more breath. Inhaling, rising up. Bring both feet forward. We're going to round the low back here. So tailbone's going to scoop underneath. Arms are going to come forward and roll down. Find the spot that you're just about to lose it and fall, or before that, and just play the edge of that spot. So rise up like a centimeter, come down a centimeter, rise up a centimeter, come down a centimeter. We're going to do this for about a minute. You can bail at any time. I'm trying not to tense through my head, my shoulders, jaw soft, tongue soft. And then all the way down. And so there, since we strengthen the belly so much, let's balance that out. Bring the feet in towards your tushy. And I'm going to come down so I'm fully on the mat. On your inhale, just a smidge, shrug your shoulders towards your ears. Bend your elbows, press your elbows down, press your shoulder blades down and together. So this is creating stability through the upper body. Tuck your chin. Take a breath. So the breath is very much through the front body here. It's just what it is right now. Can you actually soften the back body a little? So the breath is balanced more through the front and back. And once you feel like you have that, so I have to soften even more through the back to find the breath in the back body. Once I have that, I'm going to press through my whole feet, both of them, and rise up into bridge pose. Once I get there, I'm going to squeeze the shoulder blades together just to be kinder to my neck. And I'm going to imagine those lengthening femurs, just like I did in Virasana or hero pose. Lower the butt and rise up again. Butt down, butt up. One more time. Butt down, butt up. and lower. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Don't let the hips go along for the ride with the knee. Keep the hips squared. You can press the knee away. This might be nice. Maybe you want to bring the leg in. Soften this left foot. Maybe do some ankle circles real slow. And then the other direction. Release, switch sides. Hips squared, knee extends away, thigh long. So maybe this feels like, this just feels nice. That feels nice, like enjoy. If you're like, what am I supposed to be feeling? If that's how you are, you can bring the knee in a little closer. So one of the, I was going to say benefits, but one of the balances of not having strong inward rotation of my thigh bones is I have a very strong external rotation of my thigh bones, which means in yoga terms, like I have very open hips, which just means like my femurs are more externally rotated than internally rotated. So this for me is like very normal. This is comfortable. And I know that's not true for everybody. We all have our strengths. Let's do some ankle circles on the right foot. There's no rush. Other way. Great. And release. Bring the feet to the sides of your mat with your knees together. Bring your palms out to the side. Kind of broaden the shoulders off the back a little bit. And if it feels like the shoulders are high, tuck them down. Down, but not necessarily together. And tuck the chin. Close your eyes and just check in here. Does anything feel undone or not complete? And if that's the case, if anything feels incomplete, please tune in and listen. Like, what does this brilliant body of yours need in this moment, and gift that to it. If you do feel complete, you can come into Shavasana from here. If you do have a pillow like I had, you can place the pillow underneath your head, or you can place the pillow all the way back where your butt and your thighs meet. This is actually like a little more support for your low back if you bring the support in close to the thigh bones. If it's your knees that are in question, you can bring the pillow underneath your knees. I'm going to bring it underneath my thighs for now. And find your right spot. Tune into gravity's call. And see if you can allow gravity to do her work with more ease. No need to fight. No need to control. The muscles let go of their holding, and the bones are allowed to drop. And as the bones find their way down into the support of the floor underneath you and the earth, Underneath that, give the skin permission to feel the air and the space of the room. As the architecture, the spacers of your body drop. The skin, the layer that separates you, also contains you, is allowed to sensate. Balanced between earth and sky, ground and space. Notice the aliveness within you, whether that's the beat of your heart or the breath in your body, or just a feeling of awake energy, alive. And when you're ready, you can stay here, or you can begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. If it feels like you have and want to utilize this Shavasana for more time, just pause this and enjoy. If not, circle the wrists and feet. You can extend the arms overhead. Give yourself a nice big stretch. Draw the knees in. Rock onto your right side. Press up into seated. And before we close, tune in here to the breath through your back. Is it any different? Notice your state of mind and your state of body as if they're any different. Bring your palms together in front of the heart. Much gratitude to you. Have a great day. Namaste.